The way we think about this stance, prakan per lord, is more of like a stance with an uppercut position, like here. Okay, so stance is like this way, as opposed to this. There are many stances in Muay Boran, and this is another variation of a guard or stance position. When we think about this technique with the uppercut stance, we're throwing a lot of uppercut moves, whether it's counters or initiating attacks. Okay, so this is a guard position for prakan per lord. Prakan per lord is more than just a stance. I know I mentioned that this is sort of an old school stance where you have your hands like this, sort of in an uppercut position. Very similar to old school boxing where your hands are down this way. But it's not that you have to always have your stance in this position, because then you become very predictable. When we talk about Muay Boran, there are a few different stances that you can switch from depending on what you're thinking about throwing, or whether you want to throw your opponent off, and so on and so forth. So you're not limited to just one particular stance. In this case, when we talk about prakan per lord, we're talking about the stance with the uppercut this way, which you can obviously apply, you can mix it up. You can go back to your traditional stance, you know, and then go back before you throw an uppercut, or you can just conceal it altogether, so you don't necessarily have to sort of advertise that you are in this sort of uppercut position, if you will. Okay? Because there's different stances in Muay Boran. There's this stance, there's this. So you have to mix all these stances up when you get to that level, so that your opponent will get thrown off. It's a way to not telegraph the moves that you want to throw and that you want to execute. When I'm talking about this stance, prakan per lord, so I have this sort of uppercut stance. It's not that I'm just, you know, able to throw uppercuts, which obviously I could. I can switch into throwing straight punches if I want. I can kick, you know, I can throw overhands, I can do whatever. So even though I have this stance, I'm not limited to just throwing uppercuts. Okay, I'm right here, I can switch it. My regular stance, I can have my hands up and attack the way I would regardless of what my stance would be, whether I have my hands up, my hands out, or I have this uppercut stance right here. So if he throws say a straight punch, I can get out of the way, then I can throw my uppercuts from the angle. I could do it from both sides, from here as well. Boom. And throw the uppercut this way. Okay? So that's just different ways of setting up prakan per lord in terms of the stance and in terms of the uppercuts. You can do them at any point in time. You can do it from every angle. You don't just have to throw the uppercuts from out here. You can angle out, hit him from here. He goes in. I can do it this way. So different ways of throwing this particular uppercut.